Hello and welcome. Did I do a good Lisa impersonation?
It's getting there. It's getting there.
I'm impressed.
Lisa's not here today, so I'm filling her shoes, right?
Yeah, genuinely, you sold those.
So welcome everyone to The One Thing on Edge Radio Australia with Aaron Malloy, myself, Leanne, no Lisa, but we do have Wayne today.
Yes.
And Wayne's in the hot seat. So
He is.
we've changed
warm
our
there?
yeah.
Started to sweat.
We were we're talking about chilies earlier, so
We were.
yeah.
Had to prepare you, right? You know, with a nice vindaloo, away we go.
That's it.
And of course, it's some herbal drink to go with it.
That's
Yeah, fantastic.
I finished mine. Sorry.
Good fella.
So Wayne, today your hot topic is conflict resolution.
It is.
So welcome back to the couch.
It has been a little while.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that it's you sitting here because I know you know exactly what to do. So I don't,
Oh, is that
I don't
how
have
it
to worry too much.
Well, I
right?
either know or I'm very good at pretending.
Oh, well, I feel like a government worker this week. I'm totally phoning it in. I'm on go slow. So, yeah, you guys take over. I'll just have a little rest in the
You're
corner.
just going to be a button pusher.
Oh, absolutely.
do
Storyline.
you like that little pun worked into the theme?
I like it. Yeah, very nice. Nice.
Very, very cool. Very cool.
Now, we're going to talk about conflict
Yeah.
resolution today.
Yeah.
That's why we got you here, mate, because you cause a lot of conflicts. No,
A lot of practice.
this is now an intervention. No, time to jump into it. So, look, Leanne, what are your thoughts?
Oh, you look
Because-
like you've
I
got
know, I've
questions.
got Lisa. I've got
Yeah.
Lisa on my phone. No, it's not Lisa. It's just, I decided to be Lisa. Take a leaf out of Lisa's
Oh.
book because she's always prepared, and I'm not, and I usually wing it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like to wing it.
but so do I. I like winging it as well, but I like Lisa's tact of being prepared as well. So
Oh, she was a brownie.
she was a
She
brownie.
was a
You were
brownie.
a scout. You were a scout.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear. Yeah.
So conflict resolution, Wayne.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about why you chose conflict resolution as your hot topic.
Oh, it's a very good question and a good one to lead with, actually, because when you ask me, as you do, you run through all the scenarios in your head of, I could do it about this, or I could do it about that, or because I've coached people on different aspects on life.
Yep.
And then I thought, okay, if I could get a message out there to make a difference in people's life, what would be the one thing that would set up like a ripple effect and change everything? And the one thing, if I could wave a magic wand
Yep.
to remove it or enable people to be able to do it better, it would be conflict.
Okay.
Because most of us are absolutely crap at conflict.
We are. I am one of those.
That is a
Yeah.
technical term, I believe you just used.
It
crap,
is.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I've
have to
consulted the
say.
textbooks and made sure I was correct.
Now, before we go any further, okay, I think that we need to bring in this introduction. Lisa is not here, but she has come up on the screen. Hello!
Oh,
Hello,
God.
Lisa. Hello. Hello in Bali.
How is Bali? I tell you, what are you drinking? Not this, I'm sure.
I like this seat, Lisa.
Probably
better
something a bit
than the
better.
other seat.
You
So
do?
just saying. When you get back, sorry.
Lost your spot.
Sorry.
Sorry, mate.
Anyway.
You were conflicting.
Yeah, it's a good thing I'm good at bring this back on subject, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Come to the right
and the
place.
reason being,
Because
yeah.
we really do a shit job of that, don't we?
Now, the reason being that if I went back in time to 15 years ago when I had my second wife,
Mhm.
we, depending on which way you want to look at it, we either did conflict really well because we did it regularly and very intensely,
Mhm.
or we were very shit at it because it never resolved anything.
Right.
So depending on which way you want to look at it.
So you guys actually had conflict where you actually addressed each other. I like
Well,
to
that's
go.
a polite way of saying
I
it.
like to go. Conflict. I'm out of here.
Oh, really? Oh, you're a bailer.
Yeah,
And
it's
again-
like I don't like
Oh.
that conflict. I would rather be the peacemaker.
Okay.
Or I like to bring it down a level
Okay.
because
Well,
I'm
don't
not
bring you down.
I'm not good.
Anyway, and that's one of
Down,
the things I
down,
want to
prices
address
are down.
today too, if we can squeeze it in.
Mm.
And I went from being in that situation where our conflict was exceptionally intense. I mean,
Right.
I could sit here all day rattling off stories, and that's pointless because we all know what terrible conflict feels like.
That's next week's show.
Yeah, exactly. So what I thought would be a better use of today's time
Yep.
is to show how I transitioned from that to now where conflict will last about 2 minutes
Okay.
and there's no yelling, no screaming, and it's resolved.
Are you telling me not all transitioning is a negative thing?
Boom, boom. Can't help yourself, can you?
Can't help yourself.
Boom,
Got issues.
bang, right there.
So with conflict, when I started studying this and learning about it and looking at my own journey, what I realized was conflict is everywhere.
Yeah, of course it is.
Like,
yeah.
No
and
doubt.
it is so, like, you know, there's 3 types of anger.
No, but you're going to tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. For those of you at home, in case you don't know, there's positive, far out aggressive anger,
Right.
which is pretty obvious. It's yelling and screaming and all of
Sure.
that sort of rubbish. There's passive aggression, which, if you want to sum it up, and a bit of a warning for everyone, I'm going to use a profane word here. It's basically can be summed up as "fuck you, figure it out." So
Okay.
it's when, and this will, everyone's probably been in this situation. Honey, what's wrong? Nothing.
Oh. If a woman
That's
says,
passive aggression,
if a woman
folks.
says she's fine,
No, that's
Panic.
just a woman's way of
Oh.
saying it.
no,
No,
it's not.
That's
no, don't-
passive
no.
aggression.
No.
And I know that very
Rich.
well. Because,
What did Lisa
and
say now?
then there's assertive anger. So there's a lot of people that think anger is a bad thing, and it's not. It is absolutely wonderful because it allows you to express the anger,
Yep.
for it to be heard,
Mhm.
and for a resolution to be reached because boundaries are being honored.
Okay.
So that's assertive anger. So these people that say my partner and I never argue
Mhm.
always takes me back to a comment from Dr. Phil. Now, this is back before he turned into an idiot.
Dr.
No, he's
Phil.
coming back.
Oh,
Yeah,
is he?
very,
He's
very
making a
slowly,
slide
though.
back.
I
yeah.
used to
Anyway,
watch him all the time. back in
He
the day.
made a comment years ago where he had a couple in front of him that said they never argue, and he said, "So which one of you is irrelevant?"
Ooh.
And I was like, that is so true.
Ooh.
Because no one matches so perfectly that they don't have any conflict. Like
Correct.
my wife and I, probably 2% of the time we have conflict. The other 98% is brilliant. That conflict, though, is needed because
I
that's
agree.
where we learn each other's boundaries.
Yep.
It's where we learn what the other person will tolerate, what we won't tolerate, all of this sort of thing.
If
I
you're
agree
not-
with that.
Yeah, but if you don't push boundaries, you don't know where they are. right?
Absolutely.
You need to be able to overstep because otherwise you'll never know that marker. And I think that, as long as you do it in a respectful way, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you resolve that when both parties think they're right?
Excellent. And they are.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Because you got to remember every time, okay, let's do some role playing.
Oh no.
Okay.
Just became a whole different show all of a sudden.
Ooh.
No.
dear.
We're going to do a slow motion argument.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now we're going to do it traditionally the way this. So this is the way people would normally do an argument.
Mhm.
So you do something or say something that upsets me. Okay.
Mm.
So the first thing I would do is I would have my button pushed.
Yep.
All right. I would be triggered. Now, when we get triggered or our buttons get pushed, our usual response is to justify, to explain, or to defend.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I could get that.
Now, the problem is if I come in with that, it can be perceived by you as an attack. Now, if you perceive yourself as being attacked,
Mm.
what's your initial
Oh, well,
response?
you're going to attack back.
No, but you're not attacking. You're explaining, you're justifying, or
Yeah,
you're defending.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
But I perceive it as an attack.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we're going backwards and forwards and yelling and screaming, and I'm back in my second marriage.
Right.
Oh no. And yeah. Anyway, then you're doing makeup sex. But anyway.
There's
And
always a
that
positive.
is the next week's show after that.
See, it's funny when you said about pushing buttons. I just thought about the sugar babes. So that's just me.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Oh, come on. You
Stop.
saw that
I'm
video.
trying to be
You saw that video.
serious.
Every male saw that video. Anyway, it's a good video.
So if
Enough from the peanut
if
gallery.
we're having this, back and forth and this scenario, and we're in a relationship, we're having a back and forth.
Yep.
Or any relationship, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to
Could be work, could be
it
family.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you manage your emotions in that heat of the moment?
Nice. You got good questions. You
I
put some
have,
thought in these.
I've put
No,
thought
these are
into
actually
it.
good because they're leading me where I want to go.
Ah, see,
So we're
and
in
I
sync.
didn't get prepped either.
No.
Mm.
Nice, nice. Now, the problem is a lot of us, and especially men, we aren't in touch with our emotions.
Yeah.
All right. So you know what a pressure cooker is, and I know
Yeah.
Aaron does.
Yeah.
For people at home that don't know what a pressure cooker is, it's a cooking implement, a sealed saucepan that is high pressure that cooks very fast. And on top, it has a little device that rocks backwards and forwards. And when the pressure gets too high, it lets a little bit of pressure out. So if we're like that all the time, and we're when we get triggered by our partner, it all comes out. Because that emotion is never given a voice. It's never given permission to present itself in our life.
Sure.
Now, and this is what I've learned, because I used to get triggered and do the whole
But diamonds are made under
thing.
pressure.
Oh, don't start getting all metaphorical on me.
I was just thinking about pressure and how it can compound and compound and compound. But
Yeah,
diamonds are made under pressure.
If it's used properly.
Okay, all right.
But emotions is not a good thing to
No,
get
no,
pressure in.
No.
So what I have found, I spent months, literally months, getting in touch with my emotions. So I know where they came from, what they meant, what they felt like, and how to deal with them. The good thing is now when they come up, it's not a pressure cooker. It wants a voice.
So
Let
you
it have a
tilted the
voice.
lid, right? So just
No, I've
escaping
opened up and taken. There's no pressure.
There's no lid.
pressure. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, what would you recommend for our audience out there that aren't in the position that you're in, that haven't done the work?
Cool.
And
I'm
they
going to
find
tell them a
themselves-
very, very easy tool.
Okay, cool.
All right. So this is one I created that has worked wonderfully well for me and many other people. So I did up a list of all these different emotions, positive emotions and negative emotions. There's no such thing, all right? Emotion is emotion, end of story. There is no good or bad. And I made up a big list of these, and at the end of every single day, I would sit down and go, okay, today did I feel pride? And I'd go, okay, yeah, I did a good job at work with that particular project. And yes, it worked out well, and I was proud of how it felt. Okay. And then I'd think about how that felt, how it felt in my body, what was going on in my head,
Really good.
what my energy levels were like. And then I'd go on to the next one. Did I feel frustration today? Yes, I did. And I had this list of, I think it was 26 emotions. And every night I would go through them, and I got better and better at noticing when I was in those emotions
that's really
in the
cool.
moment.
Yeah, really cool.
So in the day, if I was getting frustrated, I'd go, I can feel that frustration feeling coming up.
So on your website, Life Back on Track with Wayne Brown, would you have this available to people so they can recognize their own emotions? A list?
No, it's only for my clients.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's okay. Just
That's
putting it out there.
cool. I mean, people are welcome to come up with their own list, because everyone's going to have their own emotions that they've repressed or ignored or pushed aside or whatever. So for me,
maybe you need to give them a little taster, like 6 out of the emotions.
Little
Would be
whippets.
I
there,
just did pride, frustration. Okay. So for me, the big ones were, especially being a male, we're not allowed to do vulnerability, fear. We're not allowed to do all of those sorts of feminine emotions. So for me,
fear for me is a big one. Fear.
Yeah, it depends what's fear of.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a big part of mine, was getting back in touch with those softer emotions.
Yeah.
All right. So the good thing that's come out of that is things like empathy now. I'm better at, because I'm like, they would be feeling this emotion at the moment, therefore I can understand where they're coming from.
See, fear I would never put as a feminine emotion. I put that as a person emotion, because fear, I think we all have that.
Yeah, but it's different fears.
We're not allowed.
It's
We're
different
not
fears.
allowed. Society doesn't let us show it.
No.
Right? And everybody deals with it differently. I don't have many physical fears, and that's not because I think that's years of conditioning. Do you know what I mean? I think that's society telling me that I'm not allowed to be frightened of this or whatever that. I think, men and women experience that.
Yeah, probably we experience it differently, but I think it's very, very real for both sexes.
Yeah.
And I think it's because our fear is emotional as well, because it's a fear of being judged. fear of being, like, especially as a parent, like not even as a mother or as a woman or a man,
Mhm.
but as a mother or a father, fearing to be judged as what you're, how you're bringing
Yeah,
your children
absolutely.
up, or
Absolutely.
all
But it's
this
all
sort
of that
stuff.
fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of
Rejection's a big
not
one too.
fitting in, not being of being unloved, of being
that's why-
unworthy. There's
That's
so
why a lot of
many
these
fears.
young women as well
Yeah.
are promiscuous.
We can
'cause
do
they're
another whole show
it's,
on
it's
fear.
fear of missing, fear of not being good enough
Yeah.
as well.
But
So,
I've got
and
my own
judgment,
theories on fear that we
yeah.
can do a whole show
Oh
on.
yeah.
If you
Oh,
want.
that's next
Yeah.
year.
But on that promiscuous front, okay, I'm going to throw this out because I think I shared this on Facebook today or yesterday.
Oh,
yeah, it was
that's very
interesting.
pertinent.
Yeah, it was because this post came up and it was this girl talking about
Oh
her,
yeah,
her body count, right? Body count, how many people you've
Such
slept
a
with,
load
right?
of rubbish.
It is, and it's personal information. I don't want to know. Who cares, right? Especially if I meet someone, the last thing I want to know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking forward. I'm not looking backwards, right? Anyway, but they talk about body count. So the girl says, "Oh, my body count, the amount of men that she slept with, is 500." I'm really curious to know if that's, what other people's are, kind of thing, and kind of if that's normal, kind of thing. That's I can't remember the exact words. Anyway, somebody patched into the to it, and she made their comment and said, "Oh, look, effectively that in short, she said she no, I'd never worried about body counts or anything like those sort of issues because I had this dad who used to say really annoying kind of redundant things to me like I love you, right? Meaning she had grown up with a strong male figure who was able to be vulnerable and tell your child that they're loved, right? And that, quite frankly, the people who are out there, and men and women who are promiscuous, are normally looking for something. That's what they're doing. It's a weakness in them because they haven't been raised in a way that they felt loved. Just
Anyway, pulling it back to subject matter.
Yeah, absolutely. I just couldn't put it. I wish I could remember
I know.
accurately.
There's a lot of that stuff out there, and in regards to the conflict part, is if I'm going back to our little role playing thing, right? I get triggered. There's only a couple of things that I really need. I need to be heard.
Yep.
And I need to feel like I'm worth something. Oh, yeah. And the problem is that with conflict, we forget that. All right. So when our partner gets triggered, rather than buying into it, we need to go, okay, they just need to be heard.
Yeah.
All right. So like I said, my second marriage was an exceptionally intense one when it came to conflict. And at the time, because I was caught up in a lot of my own rubbish, as you do, I put a lot of labels on her, like jealous, insecure, manipulative, etc., etc. And at the time, they felt very justified. I felt like, that's her issue. It's her issue. It's her issue. And it was only after we split up that I was doing some work on myself that I had an epiphany. And that woman who I had unfortunately put all these labels on now became the best thing to ever happen to me.
Yeah.
Because I got the freaking lesson.
You got the lesson.
Yeah.
All right.
And you clearly needed the lesson.
Yeah. But the nice thing about that is that was a catalyst for me thinking about conflict.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of books out there on conflict. If you have an argument with your partner, you got to sit there and go through this process of, what's your problem, blah, blah, blah. And you have this drawn out dialogue of getting to the root of the problem, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for that rubbish. So I created my own method. All right. And basically what it did was took out 90% of conflict from my life instantly.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Because I realized, or had the epiphany, whichever way you want to look at it, that when we get triggered, it's nothing to do with that person. They have opened something within us that needs to be addressed, needs to be dealt with, needs to be healed, whatever term you want to use.
Sure.
So basically, anyone like the idiot that cuts you off in traffic, you can sit there and rant and rave and carry on all you want. And we do. I know that's the one thing that still does get me though. All right.
You can use
I'll admit to that one.
You can use the pit move and just, tip them off the road.
So those sorts of things, it's this is an opportunity for me to explore me. It's not about him cutting in front because his story, remember, he's right in what he's doing.
So if you've got a couple and
Mhm.
one's not comfortable addressing the conflict, how do you suggest that
You're
they
just asking for a friend, are you?
Address it? How do they address it? They're
Okay,
not
cool.
comfortable in doing it.
Before
So-
you answer this, getting some questions in and comments, and I'd
okay.
like to sort of
Oh, yes.
address these. Now, we've got one in here. After 2 marriages, I don't entertain stupid arguments and instead ask straight to the point. Okay, what is the problem? And deal with the issue there and then. How do you feel
Okay.
about that?
That's a very nice question. Thank you for asking. Was it Carter's Corner?
Yes.
It's an interesting name. I think it might be a pseudonym.
Could just
A
be.
nom de plume. The challenge is when it comes to conflict,
Mhm.
a lot of the times when people are triggered,
Yep.
they don't know what's underneath it. That's why I created my little system, because I'm like, okay, I'm still getting annoyed, frustrated, disappointed, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Why? Why does it still hit me?
Yep.
And I had to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until I realized what it was. And that took months of going through it and going, okay, can I go deeper than that step?
Sure.
Can I go deeper than that step? And so even if you say to your partner, and this is where it does get frustrating, and in a way I must apologize for everyone, because a lot of us are just doing the best we can with what we know. And sometimes dealing with that deeper stuff is scary, because you have to, okay, let's go back and say, I've got something that my dad said to me when I was younger, for example. All right. For me to address that that's deep within me, I have to recognize certain things about my father. That then sets up internal conflict within myself where I love my dad, but he was a dick. You know what I mean? So then now I'm addressing the problem, but now I've got this new problem that I've got to deal with.
Yeah,
So a lot of
exactly.
people, we struggle to deal with that because we don't know how to deal with the issues that it brings up. So our brain, because it's a lazy organ, it keeps this stuff hidden from us until we're ready to deal with it. Are we getting some? Oh my God, she's got.
Now, there's some very interesting comments coming in. Yeah.
I'm sure there is.
Like we are trying to squint to see the
Yes,
screen.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think that it's fair to say.
Oh
that
no, I'm not squinting. That's just my normal eyes.
I'm turning Japanese. I really
Oh.
think so. Look,
yeah, that's
yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, what that song's about.
Exactly.
So if you're in this conflict situation, Wayne,
Yep.
and you feel yourself starting to rise, you know, and it's increasing, this rise of anger is starting to increase. What are some good things that people can do? Just give a couple of pointers just to de-escalate that. A little
Okay.
bit.
One that I learned years ago, which is a wonderful one to have, and I set it up with my wife the moment we started dating. And I learned, you talk about makeup sex and we're making those jokes, but I actually learned this from those people.
Oh, okay.
It's a safe word. So for people that don't know what a safe word is, in the world of bondage and discipline, they have a thing called a safe word. So it's it's yet another show. So they have a word
four-parter.
that you wouldn't normally use in normal conversation. So if you say it, it's very obvious that, hey, a boundary's been crossed.
Yep.
So if you have a word with your partner that you wouldn't normally say, a safe word, and it could be green beer, for example, all right? If you say that, it's everything needs to stop right now.
Right.
I'm at the point where I'm about to go into meltdown. I need to step away. I need to take a break. So let's say we're having our little tete-a-tete, and I say, you know what, green beer.
But what if the other partner still wants to keep going?
Hang on. So, see, we're about to. So what this does now is it tests both of us.
Yeah.
Because I've said I'm at a boundary where I'm about to melt down. I need to take a breather.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm asking you to respect me and for me to trust that you're going to respect me.
Yeah.
All right. So if you do that, I then go, cool, I can feel safer around this person because they can honor my safe word.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So I say, I need 10 minutes or an hour or whatever it needs, but you need a time limit. You can't just go, I'm taking a break and just not come back. You need to let that other person know I need X amount of time to gather my thoughts, to calm down, to make sure I'm centered, and then I'm ready to have another go. Yeah. And if it comes up again, it's safe word again.
Yep.
And you just keep doing that until you go, you know what? I'm I feel safe enough around you. I don't need to use my safe word anymore.
There's a really good one up on the screen at the moment. I struggle with explaining my boundaries and being kind to myself.
So beautifully said there, Damo.
Awesome
I love it. Now, I love this for a number of reasons. One, a lot of people, as Aaron said, don't know what their boundaries are until they're crossed.
Yep.
All right. So that was one thing that my second wife taught me a lot, was where all my boundaries were. They became a little sloppy in my next relationship. However, I learned the lesson then again, and then I'm very clear on my boundaries. So you don't know your boundaries until they've been pushed. And the other one, I realized when I was coaching a couple who had contacted me, they said, look, we're about to break up. We don't want to break up because we love each other.
Yeah.
And I coached with them. And at the end of it, they said, you know what? You said lots of really cool stuff. But the one thing that really impacted us and changed how we deal with each other is be gentle with yourself, be gentle with each other, because everyone's doing the best they can.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
all
in
right?
every life.
And if you've got shitty tools when it comes to conflict, guess what? You're going to get a shitty result. However, because that's the only tool you've got, you're going to keep using it. Once you learn a better tool.
You can learn these better tools, yeah.
And same here. I had shitty tools and I got a shitty result. Once I started realizing better tools, I got better results and kept going.
So Damo says it was never taught to me as a kid or in the Navy.
It's not taught to a lot of us.
Yeah.
Because, okay, tell me if anyone recognizes these. Just suck it up and get over it.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
Okay, don't rock the boat.
Oh.
Don't make waves. Don't say anything because you'll upset them.
No pun intended there for the Navy, Damo, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's not what I meant. So it is, we get taught, suppress your anger. Don't express it. Don't give it a voice. Push it down. And the problem is it sets up our pressure container, our pressure cooker. And that's such a crock of poo, because anger is just another emotion. And if you don't give it a regular voice, you end up with a pressure cooker, it explodes, and then it just all turns to poo.
Yeah, wow.
Let's take
definitely,
it, mate.
definitely.
Absolutely.
So Wayne, would you say that listening also plays a big role in conflict resolution?
Oh, that's another good question. I remember.
Haven't been any done so far.
I remember years ago hearing the key to a quality relationship is communication. It's not.
Oh,
it's listening.
No.
You have 2 ears, 1 mouth.
No.
Oh.
Comprehension.
Oh.
If your partner doesn't get it, what's the friggin' point?
You got us on a technicality there.
I think so too.
Okay. Doesn't matter how well you talk.
Boom.
Doesn't matter how well you listen. If you don't get it. Okay, here's a story for you. Were you good at algebra at school?
Oh, maybe when I was at school, not anymore.
I was crap. I couldn't get my head around why does A equals 2? I don't get it.
And it 2
frustrated me. All right. I could not get it. And I had teacher after teacher explaining it to me until I were blue in the face and I just couldn't get it. And I was in my 20s and someone put it in a language that I got.
Right.
And I went, right, now I've got it. I comprehended it.
And you use it every day, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Religion. Every morning I get up, hour of algebra before I get into my day.
What else have we got here?
So, that is the problem. If they don't understand, you've lost it.
Completely. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you for explaining that.
You're absolutely welcome, Damo. That's what I'm here for.
So how does something like, the conflicts over, you've had your little biff and your buff. How does forgiveness come into it? If into this conflict resolution, how does that fit into the?
Man, you've done some good. I love this. You've done such a good job. Okay, the thing that made a world of difference to my conflict, was realizing, and Aaron will have heard me say this: the conflict's never about them.
Yep.
It's always about you. Yep. There's nothing to forgive them for.
Great things from
if anything,
but
you're
what about
grateful.
Forgiving yourself? Because that's harder to do than to forgive someone else.
But what are you forgiving?
Well, for bringing up the conflict in the first place.
No. You didn't bring it up.
Here we go.
You started getting brave enough to face it.
Okay.
So I've done many workshops and things where I've had to confront things. In fact, I'm still doing it at the moment, where I'm starting to have these awkward conversations with people that need to be had.
Sure.
All right. And they're things that could bring up conflict, but again, it's got nothing to do with them. It's just me learning to let that feeling inside me, that memory, that anguish, that pain, whatever you want to call it, have a voice. Once I give it a voice, and this is what I found to be especially true. Once you say it, it comes out and you go, okay, that's not what I meant to say. And then you say to your partner, hang on, give me another try. And you try it again and you go, no, still not it. And then you try again, then you get it right. And you go, actually, that's how I feel. And
so
your
you
partner,
can actually say to your partner, hang on, didn't quite get that right.
No, I've done that.
So have I.
Doesn't go down
my
well.
partner says,
Doesn't go down well.
No, you meant what you said first.
No. And again, that's where both need to understand how conflict works. And most of us don't understand. I've read so many books on dealing with anger and stuff. And it's like, yeah, this just rubs me because it's not about the other bloody person. That's what makes it such a drawn-out process.
So
hey, let's have this 5-hour conversation where we just drag everything out and hash. We don't need to. You know how many times I have to tell my wife what's pissing me off?
How many?
About 4% of the time.
Really?
Because it's got nothing to do with her.
So you just go and deal with it.
A lot of the times, okay, I'll tell a story. I like telling this story because it's fun. All right. I was driving in the car with my wife. All right. And we're at the lights and we're turning right. And this bloke pulled in front of me. And of course, I, like most people, did all the fun stuff.
That's called Richard.
And anyway, my wife, she just sort of looks across at me with this look. It's like, God, are you done? And she goes, are you finished? And I went, actually, no, I'm not.
Oh, big dummy spit.
Because she understands. I wanted to feel angry in that moment. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do anger. So I sat there going, as I'm driving, and I felt the weight of anger pressing on me. I felt the heaviness. I felt the density as it came through my body. I felt the tightness in my muscles and my jaw. And then I was like, and about 5 minutes later, I went, yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
But I gave it a voice.
Yeah,
and my wife knew it was nothing about her.
Yep.
So she often will just go to me, yeah, you done?
Well, you got to burn it off, don't you? Right?
Yeah, but I gave myself permission to feel it. Instead of repressing it, ignoring it, or any of that rubbish, I went, you know what? I'm going to have fun with it.
Yeah.
So I did. I was just like, and I let myself feel it. And then I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done.
And then we saw you on Crime Stoppers. It was lovely.
I was the one jumping on the car with the tire lever in his hand.
That's right.
And that's the problem. We don't give it a voice, and that's where so many of us screw it up.
And I think it's a really super valid point, because exactly that. People don't give it a voice. Like, it's better out than in, right?
No.
Wait,
a lot of the time, we don't even give it a voice inside us.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and if we don't give it a voice inside us, we can't get to the root of it. We can't deal with it. We can't get a lesson from it. We can't get better at dealing with anger so that next time it's less.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I get that. So it's just compounding otherwise. If you're not giving it a voice, it's compounding.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at Damo's comment there. He says, I agree. A lot of our arguments with arguments with my wife are never about her.
Good on you.
It's things I go through. Boom.
What a wonderful man.
He absolutely is. And I tell you right now, like, that is such a honest statement.
I love it.
So many people won't make.
I know.
But it's true. And I give you full credit for that, mate, because in my own life, I just didn't accept that. I would see fault in people and thinking, why are you doing this?
Because it's easy.
Yeah. And I think we're also taught that that's where we're supposed to go.
Yeah.
Whereas if you actually have it in front of you, you kind of go, hang on. Why am I reacting this way? Well, there's a bloody reason, right? Yeah. And it's your problem, not hers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where all of this, I'm offended rubbish is such a crock. Anyway, I've got another story for you. Yeah. All right. When I first started dating my wife, we were driving along, and I must have said something that upset her. Who'd have thunk it? And
did you go using words?
I know. Who'd have thought someone getting upset? Anyway, I noticed that she was a little upset because she was doing the old look out the window thing. Oh. And so I said to her, what's wrong, honey?
We're really good at doing that.
And she goes, nothing. And I'm like, oh, far out. Here we go again. Another passive aggressive. And I thought, you know what? Passive aggression comes from a number of sources. A, there's shame about your anger.
Okay.
In other words, you're wrong for feeling angry. You should feel bad about feeling angry.
Okay.
And we're taught that being angry is wrong.
That was me.
All
Taught
right.
being angry is wrong.
So I had to create an environment where she felt safe
Right.
to open up. So I
Okay.
started with a, no, I don't believe you, and I want to hear why you're upset. And it took a lot of coaching and a lot of coaxing and drawing her out and setting the boundaries and going, you can say what you need to say. And the good thing is now she's like, no, you've just annoyed me. It's like there is no pause whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's
No.
good though, because I know exactly how she feels.
But honesty is the center of a good relationship.
Absolutely.
Right? And if you can be yourself with that person, you can be honest. You don't have to beat around the bush. You can get to
Yeah.
it. I mean, look, I'm not saying you can use tact, right? You can use tact. Tact is important.
Timing better.
Timing.
Now, I find this really hard, like, because she can says to you, what you did was annoying. How do you respond to that? Because it's
Well, that's her
actually,
issue.
It's her, exactly. So then you come
And I
at me
say
and
that.
going, but that's your issue, blah, blah. Oh,
Oh,
that makes me even more
Hey,
annoyed.
the truth hurts.
yeah.
So, okay, so here's a way that I've started doing this with her. And it started as a joke at first. However, I find it's worked so well, I'm now coaching people with it.
Oh, here we go.
Is when she does something that triggers me
Yeah.
or upsets me, I sit there and go, God, you're a pain in the ass, but you're my pain in the ass. In other words, that's who you are. I don't want you to change, because if you change, you're not the person I love.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed by that because I say that.
Yeah.
I say that because, yeah, look, sometimes, I've got a wonderful girl in my life, but sometimes I think, like, seriously, like, will you drop from an ET? Because, like, I don't understand how you can think that way.
Yeah.
But again, if
But that's a male, female brain too. It's a little bit different
absolutely,
sometimes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, if the person in your life changed,
No, emotions are emotions. I'm going to
Oh,
argue.
it's not the emotion.
I'm gonna
It's the
argue with-
thing. It's the thing that you do is different. Like I would do things that really piss Richard off.
yeah, quite
because-
deliberately.
Yeah, but
No,
what-
because I do it in a different way that he would do it. And he'll just go, "What the really?"
At the end of the day, does it get the result?
Yeah, but
No,
yes.
at the end, that's all that matters. Does it get the result?
I'm going to tell him that at the
All
end of
right.
the day. Does
Well,
it get the
I'm just
result,
gonna
babe?
I'm going to make that
No, no.
point. I just want to make that point, referring to what you said about. Okay, the fact of the matter is, you've chosen this person in your life for because they're not exactly the same as everybody else, because they're quirks.
There's
and
something
differences,
about
right?
them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you should embrace that, right? Sometimes it
Absolutely.
might drive
Because
you
you
nuts.
love them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like the world would be a very dull place if we were all the same.
Yes.
37 years of being driven nuts right here.
How many?
The
again?
therapy's helping.
37.
37.
No, but the
37.
good thing is, as Aaron said, there are differences that my wife and I have. Some of them drive me nuts,
Yeah.
right? Like we're going on holiday shortly to a wedding overseas. And she's like, oh, we're going to make sure the house is tidy before we go. And she's like, yeah, everything's got to be. And I'm just like, no, let's just leave. And it's like, it drives me nuts. However, it's just the way she sees
Yeah.
it. So I'm like, you
Yeah.
know what?
Yeah, it's called compromise, right? As
No.
well.
I don't
have
like
to
compromise. No,
Yes.
compromise means someone has to lose.
No,
I
it
prefer
doesn't.
negotiation.
Well, yeah, I don't think
No,
compromise
negotiation
means
is how do we get a win-win out of this?
And you can get a win-win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything is a win-win.
Well, I've gotten this far with compromise, and so has he. So I reckon that's a win-win
Okay.
Well, okay. Yeah. Perhaps.
because he's compromised his whole 100% that he was in on this thing, and I've compromised my whole 100%. We've come together 50-50 and made 100% together.
No.
That's my thing.
I'm going to use a story from Brene Brown.
okay.
Okay. Hey? The
We've got the
toilet?
toilet seat
Oh,
argument.
up, down, up, down.
See?
The best one I ever heard for this, and I love this one. Women need the toilet seat down, so men should leave it down. Men leave the toilet seat up, so women should leave it up. So it goes both
Can
ways.
I tell you something
Quite
though?
literally.
Yeah.
Right,
Can
yeah.
I tell you something? It should be left down because in the middle of the night when you go to pee and you go and
Oh,
you
yeah,
go
I've
to
done
the
that
toilet,
too, but it's
and it's like, no, that toilet seat should be down. My husband's the best at leaving the toilet
No,
seat down.
no.
Yeah.
No. You know what? Okay, modern women. Okay, you can do anything a man can. Guess what? You can do this. You can do this. No. Learn, like everybody needs to learn their roles.
Rich, I love you, babe.
And anyway, going back to my story, Brene Brown. I don't know if you've heard of her.
Well, we've gone from the
Okay.
toilet to a brown. Okay, cool. Go on.
No, she has got a wonderful little story that she tells where she says people go, relationships are 50-50. She said, that's a load of rubbish. They're not 50-50. She said, I might have a crappy day at work and I'll come home and I'll say to my husband, I'm running a 20, as in running at 20%. I'm knackered. And he will go, nah, I've got your back. I've got 80. I can pick up the slack and we're all looking good.
Well, that's where I'm saying 50 and 50 and we come together and we make 100.
No, but sometimes you might be 20 and you need an 80.
That's fine.
But this is what she says makes sense, is it goes both ways. But then if you both come home and you go, I'm running a 20, I'm running a 20 as well. Okay, stop. We need to do a recharge. So they cancel everything. They have like a day. It's just a family day. They chill out. They connect.
Yeah.
They recharge.
I've heard her say that before.
Yeah, and I like that. And it's the same with conflict. It's I'm done with this conflict. I can't do it.
That's still a compromise, in my opinion. Well, it's just a word.
It's the way you view it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm viewing the classy people that we get to watch the show here. We've got Carter's Corner of Good.
Toilet soup. I love it.
Toilet soup. Sorry, but the toilet should be closed, seat and lid, when you flush, and stop the toilet soup from flying into the air. What a beautiful image. Thank you so much, Carter's Corner.
Do you know what
it's true, though.
If that's a man or a woman, I don't know which one it is. But do you know there's truth in that?
Yeah, because I've done studies on it
Yeah, because when you smell something, it's the molecules of the thing that you're smelling.
Yeah, fecal
so when you
coliform.
flush, molecules of the fecal
coliform.
matter will go up into the air, and when you smell it, you're smelling your
and
fecal
it's giving
matter.
you a very good
so
immune
toilet
system.
soup is actually spot on. Sorry, folks.
Oh, look, I thought this show was going to be educational in a whole different way. But, all right, hang on, more questions coming
hang
in.
on.
Oh, blimey, we could be here all night.
We could be. All right, now.
This is Kaz, is it? Kaz Willow. Hi, guys. Laugh out loud. Hi, Kaz.
Hey, Kaz.
Glad you're enjoying it.
Kaz is in Queensland.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent.
Beautiful part of the world. Tell you what,
It is.
you
I do love
only two
Queensland.
states you need, really. Actually, 3 states. A guy used to know, he had a great T-shirt. There's 2 states in the world to be in, WA and pissed. But I also love Queensland.
This is why I'm in between.
Yeah. No, I've been to Queensland many times.
Queensland.
Love it
Yeah.
over there.
Love Queensland. Cool people, simple as that. All right. Oh, there we go.
It's
we go.
Travis.
That explains everything.
There we go. It's a
It's
guy.
Travis.
There you go.
It is the
But
show.
he is right. Toilet soup is a thing.
Yeah. I tell you, we've opened the account to far too many people, clearly. Oh, look.
So,
great
but
to see you
at the end of the day,
Mhm.
conflict is a good thing. Conflict can be healthy.
Yeah.
Conflict can be advantageous to a high quality relationship, and people should learn how to do it properly.
And so, on a final, is it time nearly?
We're
Not
getting
not
close.
quite.
We're
Not
getting
quite
there.
getting there. Societal conflict.
Yep.
Right. So conflict within society.
Yep.
How do we as individuals cope with that sort of conflict?
Cool. If someone's getting upset, it's their stuff. If you're getting upset, it's your stuff. End of story.
So if they're getting upset and you're in a shop and someone's getting upset with you, just how do you interact with that person that's getting upset with you if you're in a
Cool.
shopping center?
You say to your brain, okay, I'm getting triggered in various ways. I'm going to deal with you later. Just take a back seat for the moment because I need to help them.
Yeah.
And you know that it's about them.
Yeah.
So as long as you can keep putting it back onto them so they understand, hey, I hear you, I value you, you're being listened to.
So if
You
you
can
don't
bring
know
it down.
if you don't know the person, what are some good words and verbiage to do that in that moment?
Okay, so first of all, the best thing you can ever do with anyone that's upset is acknowledge that they're upset.
Yeah.
I can see you're upset.
Yeah.
You never ever say you've got valid reasons. All right.
Okay,
Because
right.
they're only
Remember
valid
that.
to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So all they need to know is you're obviously upset. I'm here to listen to you.
Yeah.
All right. As long as you're not attacking me. Okay. Here's a quick story. A bloke gets married.
Yep.
To his girlfriend.
I'm glad.
They move in
That
together.
works.
And I've told Aaron this story. And they first night in, they have an argument and she's ripping him a new one. And he turns around and he walks into the bedroom. And her, or this lady, like anyone, goes, "You're not walking away from this argument." And she steams off after him. And she goes into the bedroom and he's got the suitcase on the bed and he's putting his clothes in it. And she says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I respect myself way too much to stand here and be talked to like that. When you want to talk to me like an adult, I will come back." And she never did it again.
There you go.
So we all deserve to be listened to, but we also deserve to be respected. So if you're going to listen to someone, let them know, I'll listen, but if you start attacking me, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Now, that guy you're talking about, did they ever find the body?
Boom, boom.
It's
you really can't help yourself.
It's when your wife goes out to Bunnings and buys a lot of lime. That's all I'm saying.
It.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know, got some questions.
She makes friends with a Sicilian pig farmer.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kaz has come up with another comment there. Take a deep breath.
Yeah,
and 100%
absolutely,
it's
Kaz.
them.
Absolutely.
Okay,
it is them.
Yeah.
Just know that, let them know that they're worthy, they're loved, they're listened to, and that's it. That's all they need to understand.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all they need to hear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the core of all conflict. We want to be
there.
heard. We want to be valued. We want to be accepted. We want
What
to be
about
loved.
road rage and that person that comes up to you and smashing on your window?
Again,
of your car?
It's their issue. I
Bye.
mean, yeah, it's a bit scary. It's their issue, though.
Yeah.
I've actually had some really funny experiences on this. I'll just throw this forward. I've actually had guys jump out of the car and charge at me, right? And then they walk over. It says a lot about them because they come over and they go, "Oh, shit, it's a big bloke." And they go back and get back in their car. It just shows that the people who jump out, the bullies like that, they're just weak.
Yeah,
they're just weak. People,
Absolutely.
right? So, yeah. They
Yeah,
would only,
get control of yourself, buddy.
they'd be trying to attack someone who's small, obviously, make themselves feel powerful. On that little front about other people, though, we've got a lot of this going on at the moment. This is a sidestep. But we've got a lot of people who get offended on behalf of other people.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. That's just,
Let's look at that conflict.
how do they do
Okay.
that?
I saw a quote and I'm paraphrasing it.
Yeah.
I think you might have put this up once or twice too, where if you're taking on someone else's hatred for someone when you're not personally involved, you've got issues. So if you're offended on someone's behalf, grow up.
Yep.
Because it's not your fight. It's got nothing to do with you. Stay out of it. You can stand up and defend that person
Sure.
and support them, but don't take the fight on because it's not your bloody
No, your
fight.
fight.
So why would that appear in someone's psyche to do something like that?
Oh, there's lots of reasons. It might make them feel more powerful and make them feel like they're a hero. They're saving people.
Oh, God, okay, ego,
There's so many things that could be triggered by it.
It's normally
And-
triggered
It's
by
interesting, isn't it?
normally triggered by coloured
human
hair
behaviour.
and bones through noses. It is. It's the professional
Yeah.
victim. It's the person who's got to have something to bitch and complain about
Yeah.
because you know what? They haven't got any value in their own life. What they need to do is get off their ass, go and make their own life and stop being there.
There's too much good in the world to keep saying
way
it's
too
crap.
much good.
Yeah.
Way too much good.
I mean,
Yeah.
this show alone just reeks of goodness.
Yes. And on that bombshell, we'll end the show. Hey, I've really enjoyed today.
Yeah, it was really good. And I think you've perked him up a lot, Wayne, coming in.
Oh, I'm pretty.
Well, he's cracking jokes again, so he
Oh.
must be back to just
he's
about
getting,
normal.
he's getting there. Took him
Yes.
half the session, but that's
I know.
okay.
Well, I'm
Good
not
about it.
very healthy at the moment. That's the best way to describe it. And when it is hard to be happy and joyful and so forth when you're hurting, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
but I'll
We
get there,
understand.
I'll get there. It's this body is a machine. It's finally
Oh yeah,
tuned.
it's finally
Finally
tuned.
tuned.
All right, fantastic. Thank you everybody who's had some questions there and comments. Thank you for the show. Just came in from Damo. Thank you very much for being part of it, mate.
Oh, thank
Always
you for
an
being a
absolute
legend,
pleasure.
Damo.
Full stop. And another comment there, which I cannot see because I just can't. I'm old. There you go. I needed it and learnt a lot.
Oh, well
There we
done,
go.
Damo. Awesome.
Thank you, mate. And you know what? We love the fact that we can share this. This is so good. Being interactive is such a positive.
Love
thing.
it.
It's really
Absolutely.
great. So,
Love our audience.
all right,
Yeah.
we are out of here. This is the one thing on Edge Radio Australia. Would you like to throw out and give
Yeah.
apologies for Lisa? No?
Yeah, sorry, Lisa, who's in Bali enjoying life. She missed out on a really good show, and I'm really grateful to you, Wayne, for stepping up
Absolutely
and coming
welcome.
in today. I knew you were the right fit for today's show. Thank you.
you.
Always a pleasure, my friend. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
It's Edge Radio Australia.